30 million gallons of oil being released from America's secret stash. The Obama administration opening the Strategic Petroleum Reserve for the first time since 2008. Part of a plan to offset the loss of about 1.5 million barrels a day due to the deadly military conflict in Libya. Let's talk about it with our power panel. Doug Schoen, former pollster for President Clinton. Deneen Borelli, senior fellow on Project 21. Borelli is also a Fox News contributor. Jordan Goodman, financial advisor, economist, and author of Fast Profits in Hard Times. Welcome to you all.
Good to be with you.
All right, ladies first, Deneen, I'll start with you. What do you make of the decision today? Because there are a lot of skeptics out there about why this is really being done.
This is a bad move on the Obama administration. The reserves are for emergency purposes. You know, the prices spiked in Libya long ago. The prices are slowly coming down. Why is Obama doing this, making this decision at this point? We have a wealth of natural resources right here in our country. We should open up those resources and drill and dig for coal and do it now. This is a bad move, a big mistake, I think, on Obama's administration.
It's totally political. That's the reason he's doing it. Oil prices have already been falling. There's not a shortage of oil. He wants to get oil down now because they've run out of bullets, basically. You know, the Federal Reserve is not going to do QE3. It's like, well, let's get the price of oil down artificially. So it's just politically, completely political.
He's 16 months out from a very crucial re-election. And so, you know, fairly or unfairly, people are going to view almost everything he does as having some kind of political bent. Doug, we have polling out that says now for the first time, I believe in a while, maybe ever, you can clarify for us that less than 50% of those polled think he should be re-elected.
Yes, in this particular poll, that's exactly right, Shannon. All the polls have shown the president dropping. And the reason I think they made the decision on the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was they are afraid that if his approval ratings drop into the 40s, mid-40s, that they never come back. So this is effectively a decision to forestall disaster. And I think we're absolutely all in agreement that this was done for political reasons.
All right, can we in any way, though, separate it from the politics and take a look at what's happening in Libya? We're not acting alone here. We do have the international community is also throwing in another 30 million barrels. So, Deneen, I mean, any possibility that you could buy the explanation? The president is looking out for us at a time when gas prices usually spike over the summer, and the fact that we're not acting alone in this, the international community is weighing in as well.
But if he was acting on our behalf, we would be opening up drilling all over the United States. And remember, before Obama was even president, he said, under my energy plan, energy costs would necessarily skyrocket. He wants to move in renewable sources of energy by making fossil fuels much more expensive to make them cost competitive. He's harming fixed income households, poor households, low income households. It's a bad energy policy.
Look what's happening in the Gulf. Okay, we're not allowing permits in the Gulf, basically. So since the Macondo blow up, you know, we are producing less and less. We're more dependent on foreign oil than ever before.
Well, and not long ago, the president did give a speech where he said that he was encouraging domestic production. And when you talk to lawmakers, Republicans and Democrats alike, and folks down in the region around Louisiana and the Gulf, they say, you know, technically on paper, some of these permits may be back, but we're finding logistically they're not really happening. All right, we want to give you a little bit of context, very important for this. Back in January of 2009, the month that President Obama was sworn in and took office, the average price for a gallon of gas, regular, was $1.78. Now, the Department of Energy has just come out predicting the gas prices will skyrocket to $3.72 in 2012. That's just ahead of the presidential elections. For a lot of folks out there, and I know in Washington, and I'm sure here in New York as well, the price is well beyond that.
I was just in California. It's $5 a gallon in California.
It's not cheap.
But with EPA, the regulations that are going on, it's killing jobs and it's driving the price of our energy costs much higher. It's ridiculous. Obama could do something now about that.
Shannon, all of this suggests that they are looking at an untenable alignment for re-election. With unemployment at 9.1%, with inflation starting to rear its head, and them having no economic strategy and the debt and deficit talks stalemated, they had to do something.
All right, a couple of other numbers to look at. 52% overall do approve of the president's job, of what he's doing. 52 is enough percentage points to get you reelected here in the United States. But at the same time, we have 59% in this AP-GFK poll saying they disapprove of how the president is handling the economy. Jordan, how do you sync those numbers?
Because they like him personally. And I think he has a sudden, magnetism that people like. But the reality is unemployment's getting worse. And I think 9% is understating what the reality is of the situation out there. As you say, gas prices are going up, food prices are going up. it's really, really hard for people out there. I've been around the country. I was in California, as I said last week. I was in Texas. People are really, really hurting out there. The only thing that's good right now is that interest rates are falling, because we're falling at a slower pace than Greece, which is bringing down Europe. So you have very low mortgage rates, for example, 4.5% mortgage rates. If you can refinance, that's a good chance to do it. There's a place, for example, called truthandequity.com that allows you can pay off your mortgage in about 5 years instead of 30 years. So there are things out there that can be good with low interest rates. But in general, people are feeling really bad right now, and that has political implications.
25 million people are either unemployed, underemployed, or discouraged workers. And with that number, and with 59% dissatisfied with the economy, that's an Achilles heel for the president. He can't get reelected with those numbers.
All right, you think back to 1992 and President Clinton's successful run against President George H.W. Bush, where it became the famous quote, "It's about the economy, stupid."
Right.
So, Deneen, even though he has this personal charm that people like him and they have hope in him and they think he is a genuine leader, a lot of folks out there, is that line going to come back to haunt this Democratic president?
The magnetism is not going to affect people's pockets. And over 40 million Americans on food stamps. It's going to be about the economy as we get closer to the election, regardless of what the polls are saying now.
They have to have fear, they have to have faith that the Republicans are going to do something about it positively.
Right, because it's not just about the president, it's about the GOP nominee.
Given that the GOP has walked away from the debt ceiling talks, it's hard not to believe that both sides are responsible, and the Republicans in the Democrats' term are worse.
All right, Doug, Deneen, Jordan, great to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.